What's going on, YouTubers? Gadang775, and I'm back with another video. Today I'm going to be talking about unlock carrier-free phones that can be used on all networks, Verizon and Sprint included, in the United States. Okay, so this is GSM and CDMA radios on these phones that Verizon or Sprint can't stop you from using. They can be dicks about it though. They'll probably give you a hard time and try and sell you one of their phones, but I wouldn't go for it. One, you don't have any of that bloatware that's on those carrier phones, and two, you usually get faster updates coming directly from the manufacturer of the phone. So that's two, and those two reasons are reason enough to stay away from carrier phones. And if you guys are worried about financing, whatnot, Amazon, Best Buy, eBay even, they all have financing you can do for these phones. So you don't have to tie yourself to a carrier by picking up one of their phones. Now, I've split it into two groups, okay? You got the flagship phones and the budget phones. And the last one I'm going to talk about is a phone I already talked about in the past, but I'll get to that. So I'm going to start off with the flagship phones first. Okay, number one, a flagship phone is going to be the Nexus 6P. Okay, when I say flagship phone, these are phones or over $450. Okay, that you can buy right now. Okay, and the Nexus 6P fits into that category. It's got a Snapdragon 810 processor. It's got, I think, 3 GB of RAM, and it's got a 12.3 pixel front rear-facing camera that includes phase detection, autofocus, laser detect, autofocus, whatnot. And it's fast. I mean, it's really fast. Oh, you're wondering what I'm looking at? I'm looking at my little bullet point here. Bullet point tablet thing I got. This is the NVIDIA Shield tablet, by the way, which I love. I love this tablet. But it also has an 8 megapixel front-facing camera. It's got a 2K screen. It's also got a 3450 AMOLED battery, milliamp battery. So, did I say AMOLED battery? 3450 milliamp battery. Okay, the screen is AMOLED, which is nice. It makes the Nexus 6P pop. The colors pop. But the battery gets an A+ in my book because it lasts me throughout the whole day, and I have high standards when it comes to phones. Okay, this phone lasts me when I take my phone off the charger at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning till about 12, sometimes 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. So that's a long time for a phone to last me. And it gets me about 5.5 hours of mixed usage, on the phone. When I say mixed usage, it's like I download a lot of stuff, and I read a lot of stuff, surf the internet, and I do casual texting and whatnot. And I do watch a lot of videos on my phone. So 5.5 hours screen on time, A+ on my book. Cons to this phone: it's big. No SD card storage slot, so you can't put a ton of stuff on there. And let's see, that's it. It's big and no SD card. And don't forget, when you buy a phone from Google itself, the updates come directly from Google themselves. The updates and security updates, the software and security updates come directly from Google themselves, and they usually come at a much faster pace than the majority of other manufacturers and carriers out there. Hence, they control Google, Android. So now my number two flagship phone. Okay, these phones are the same to me except the battery size and the size of the phone. It's the Galaxy S7 and the S7 Edge. Yes, you heard that right. S7 and S7 Edge have been set free by Samsung. Hooray, Samsung. You should have done this in the first place instead of screwing us normal people who wanted to buy an unlocked carrier-free version of this phone in the first place. But it's Samsung. They're always going to get a buck off you guys. The reason why it's number two is the price. Okay, the only con of this phone right now is the price and a little bit of that Samsung lag. Very, very, very little. It's not as much as it was there before, like the S6 and the S5, but it's still there. Okay, and when you do buy a Samsung unlocked phone, make sure you pick up models. For the S7 Edge, it has to be model SMG935U, or if you want to pick up an S7, it's model SMG930U. Okay, these models, go directly to Samsung and buy them yourselves, because there's a lot of misinformation right now on Amazon and even eBay. It'll say unlocked, but it will, if it does not have the specific model numbers, the G935 and the G930, you're out of luck. Okay, it won't work on all carriers. But if you do have those models, it'll work on all 4 major carriers here in the United States, both GSM and CDMA networks. So that means it'll work worldwide. These are true world phones. Okay, all these phones I'm listing on this list are world phones you can use anywhere in the world. Okay, so that's why it's the best of both worlds. Less bloatware, and you can use them worldwide. Okay, so it has a, and if you're gonna go for this phone, the specs are exactly the same. I would go for the S7 Edge. One is the bigger battery. It's a 3600 milliamp battery, and again, this I think has a 12 megapixel camera in it. But the camera on this phone is arguably the best camera out there right now. That's opinion subjective, but majority of people say it is, and I've done a review on this phone, and the camera is really, really good. Okay, and it's one of the fastest launching cameras out there. I think it is the fastest launching camera. But yeah, so this is the number 2 phone, and you guys want to go pick this up, I'll leave a link to Samsung directly below. Okay, again, now all the links down below. Okay, if you do purchase anything from those links, any and all proceeds will go directly back into this channel to purchase more products for me to do reviews on. Okay, and I usually purchase my products. Okay, I don't get stuff for free. People think I get stuff for free, but I don't. Okay, I could do stuff. I could get stuff for free. You know, my email is gadang775@gmail.com, or give me a call. I'll list my number down below, so you big companies can actually call me. But my number 3 phone, okay, is the LG G5. The LG G5, make sure it's model RS988. If it does not have RS988, it will not work on all 4 carriers. Okay, again, just like the S7 Edge and the S7. Okay, the S7 Edge have been set free June 30th, so it's a recent thing. Okay, so that's why not many people are not going to know about it. But the LG G5, okay, I think it was the unlocked version, unlocked US version, was released in May this year. Okay, and there was a lot of misinformation, especially on Amazon, about people trying to say, oh, it doesn't work on Verizon, and oh, it doesn't work on Sprint. Well, the LG RS988 model does. Okay, trust me, I've used it. Okay, I've used an unlocked version. I've used 2 versions of this RS988 model. Okay, silver color and a Titan color. You know, the silver color looks kind of white, and the Titan one looks like a, I don't know, like a gray color. And I stuck my Verizon SIM on both of these phones, and they both booted up. And Verizon network, I could make calls, I could make text. So those phones work. The LG G5, and it's got a 16 megapixel. Actually, it's got 2 cameras built in on the back, dual cameras. One's a 16 megapixel camera, 1.9 aperture. Again, takes really good low light pictures. Laser autofocus, also has optical image stabilization. Okay, the S7 Edge cameras, they have optical image stabilization as well. So if you want a good camera, make sure it has OIS in there. Okay, it stops all that shaking in the background when you're doing videos. You know, you're holding the phone and taking videos. But the second camera built in back there is a 135-degree wide angle 8 megapixel camera. So you can take really wide angle shots on there. So it's a really good camera. I tested the camera. I'll leave a link down below to my S7 Edge, the LG G5. All the phones, majority of these phones I did reviews on. I'm going to leave those links down below in the information section. And let's see. And it has a removable battery. Okay, that's a good thing. You can take the battery out, put it back in. Now, the con for this phone is it's supposed to be a modular phone where you can stick these mods into the bottom of the phone, kind of like they call it the magic slot. Okay, I had to bring that up. But LG and friends, The only thing is, there's not too many mods out there. There's only the camera mod out there right now. The Hi-Fi DAC amp was supposed to come, modules was supposed to come out, but it never got passed through FCC testing here in the United States. So that's like one of the main reasons why I did not make it my daily driver. But my wife uses the LG G5. She has hers. I wish I could use it right now. See, this is hers right now, but she's using it, and I did a review on it, and it's fast. I mean, it still has some of that lag, okay? LG, Samsung phones are famous for your lag. When I say lag, okay, people don't understand what I'm talking about, okay? So when you hit that app, and say when you press a random app on your phone, on your LG or Samsung, sometimes there's a 1 or 2 second delay. That's lag, okay? When I do my Nexus 6P, okay, there is almost no delay whatsoever. I mean, it's maybe 0.1, 0.2 second delay. That's it. It's instantaneous. So might not bother the majority of people out there because you guys are used to it, but for guys like me or guys and gals like me, it drives us nuts. It does. It really does. So those were my 3 flagship phones. Those are phones over $450 that you can get top quality specs. Now I'm going to talk budget phones, and the first budget phone I want to go ahead and talk about is the Moto X Pure. Yes, the Moto X Pure 2015 model. Okay, make sure it's a 2015 model, not 2014, because that won't work on all carriers. But the Moto X Pure 2015 model, or the Moto X Style, that's its second name. It can be used on all carriers, and it's a true worldwide phone. And Motorola's got, you know, decent rep when it comes to updates. You know, they update their phones quite frequently. Not so much now since Lenovo took over, but I'm hoping that'll change. But it does come with a Snapdragon 808 processor, so it's a fairly fast phone. 3 gigabytes of RAM, and it's got a 2K screen, but the screen is okay. It's just okay compared to like Samsung. Say Samsung screens are oversaturated with colors, but it's beautiful. It's nice to look at. Let's say a Samsung screen was a 10, the Moto X screen would probably be a 6 or 7. See, the battery life is okay. Again, it got me about 4 hours, almost 4.5 hours screen on time. That's a B plus in my book, not an A. So it was decent. What saved it there is it's fast charging. Okay, and Motorola's phones charge wickedly fast. Okay, and the con I guess would be the camera. Okay, the camera is more of hit and miss. Okay, it takes some really good photos sometimes, but a lot of times, hey, you guys know what I mean. If you wanna, it still takes great photos. I mean, if you're not all into your camera, you just want to take casual pictures, whatnot, this phone is awesome. Now, if you want a phone with a really good camera and you want a budget phone, I would avoid this phone. I would go for the next phone, which would be the Nexus 5X. Okay, the Nexus 5X. I didn't use this phone for very long. I've only had it for 2 weeks because when it passed through. But it has decent specs. The Nexus 5X, again, this phone is made from LG. The Nexus 6P comes out from Huawei, by the way. But the Nexus 5X is Snapdragon 808 processor, 2 gigabytes of RAM. And that 2 gigabytes of RAM is the culprit there when it's slowed down a lot. I mean, right now it's working fine. But when it first came out, the software that was built into the phone, it made the phone stutter a little bit, and there was quite a bit of lag in there. It was akin to having a Samsung or LG, a Galaxy S6 or something, And again, that might not affect a lot of people, but for us people who switch their Android phones out regularly, the lag was surely noticeable, and it did stutter a lot. But as of right now, the phone that I used 4 or 5 weeks ago, I used it for about a week. The stutters are gone. Okay, so they optimize the software to make use of the 2 gigabytes of RAM, to make full use of that 2 gigabytes of RAM in there, because the Snapdragon 808 processor is a powerful processor. It's used in this phone, the LG V10, as well as the LG G4. as well as the Moto X Pures. So that's a good processor. Now they optimize the RAM, so the phone's working like it should. There's hardly any lag. Okay, so, and the camera is the same, pretty much the same exact camera. The rear camera anyway is the same exact camera on the Nexus 6P, which I say is in the top 10 of cameras right now on cell phones. Okay, more toward number 10. Okay, but still it's in the top 10. It takes really good pictures, really good photos, and really good videos. Okay, now the cons are the battery life. Okay, when I had it, it lasted me 4 hours screen on time. That's not really a con, because that'll get most people throughout the day. And I do some heavy usage on my phone. I watch videos and I do a lot of texting. I do a lot of browsing, so that's not really fair. Not many people are going to use it for that, but some people will. Some people will kill their battery in 3 hours. So by heavy gaming and whatnot, that'll do it. So the screen though is a 1080p LCD screen, so that kind of helps balances out the battery time. And I think the battery is 2600 milliamp battery, so that's why it doesn't last as long. But with that 1080p screen, it doesn't suck as much power as a 2K screen does from the battery. So that's the Nexus 5X. Now my third budget phone, it's a phone not out yet, but it'll be out soon on July 12th. It's the Moto G4 and the Moto G4 Plus. They're the same thing to me. The same exact specs. Okay, it's got a Snapdragon 617 processor, Adreno 405, 13 megapixel camera for the G4. Okay, phase detection, autofocus, dual LED. That's for the Moto G4. Now the G4 Plus, it comes with a 16 megapixel camera, and it comes with a fingerprint sensor. And both of these phones have no NFC. So if you rely on Android Pay and whatnot, this phone is not for you. Okay. And the models of these phones start off at $199, which is why it made the list. Okay, you can use this phone on all 4 carriers, Verizon. It's a true worldwide phone. Okay. And it's 5.5 inch screen and it's 1080p display, but it's got a big 3000 milliamp battery, bigger than the Nexus 5X. So 3000 milliamp battery with a 1080p screen should equal longer battery life. I'm saying should. I'm making the assumption here. I might make an ass out of myself later, but I'm gonna make the assumption that it should last me all day. I'm hoping. I got the G4 Plus, by the way. The prices are $199 and $249 for the 16 gigabyte model and the 32 gigabyte model for the Moto G4s. Oh wait, I think it was $229. I forgot. But the one I picked up was a 64 gigabyte model, was $299. Okay, I went ahead and picked that up. I made it custom made at Motorola and whatnot. And I think the base model, the Moto G4 Plus, is at $249, but it's 16 gigabytes of storage only. Where mine has 64 gigabytes of storage and 4 gigabytes of RAM built in. So this phone, I'm gonna do a review and unboxing of this phone sometime next week. I'll do the unboxing next week, and I'll give it a week, and I'll do a review of this phone. There's already reviews out there of this phone, so, but this budget phone that works on all 4 carriers is a plus. Okay, with those specs, those are decent specs for the phone. Okay, now I want to go ahead and talk about the upcoming phone. Those are my budget. Those are my phones for the top phones, 6 phones that you should look at when you want to use it on a CDMA carrier like Sprint and Verizon, or true worldwide phones. Now I want to talk about the Zite Accent 7. Okay, this is scheduled for release sometime this month, the end of this month most likely. Now the United States is not getting the 6 gigabyte model, 60 gigabyte of RAM model. We're only getting the 4 gigabyte RAM and Snapdragon 820 processor, but this phone will be under $500. Okay, it will come with 64 gigabytes internal storage. Now the thing is, I made a video of this phone earlier. When they had the press conference saying this phone was coming out, they said it would work on all 4 major carriers. You know, it'll be CDMA and GSM enabled. But they kind of backtracked a little, which I'm kind of upset about. That when it comes out, it'll only be working for GSM enabled phones. So that's where us CDMA guys are SOL. But they said it's gonna be coming through a future update, and they have to get approval from Sprint and Verizon, the main CDMA carriers here in the United States, in order for that phone to be used on their networks. So this is all on you, Verizon, okay, and Sprint, and all you CDMA carriers, because the CDMA radios are already built into this phone. So it's on you guys to approve this phone, okay? So those are my 7 phones that I think you guys should take a look at when making your decision to unlock yourself, free yourself from the carrier contract thing, and, you know, pick one of these phones up and use it on Verizon or Sprint. You know, just like giving them the finger, because there's no bloatware. You're not tied to their contract, their ridiculous contracts nowadays. What they're offering, the 0 down, and they'll charge you some 20 something bucks a month for $30 a month for the phone. I mean, you can go to Best Buy or Amazon and finance that thing, and you'll be done paying with that thing $30 to $40 a month. It'll be done paying in 12 months. It'll be done. So, and so a lot of times it's interest free. So, yeah, that's my unlock carrier free phone video. Look for tomorrow's video. I'll be doing a compilation of 4K TVs under $1,000 that have HDR10 built into them, okay? And when I say HDR10, because there's 2 formats of HDR, and that's Dolby Vision HDR10. And Microsoft has already confirmed that their system, Xbox One S, and most likely the Scorpio, will go the HDR10 route, will support HDR10. And I'm gonna assume again that the PS4 Neo that's supposedly coming this year is gonna go the HDR10 route as well. So that's why I'm gonna making this compilation for my console gamer subscribers of 4K HDR10 TVs, and that video will be up tomorrow. So if you guys like this video, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe to my channel down below for more videos every few days. If you didn't like this video, hit that dislike button down below and let me know in the comments, and I do appreciate the criticism. This is Goodang775. I want to thank you guys for watching my video. Peace out.